Good evening, everybody. What is an extraordinarily warm evening, 5 p.m. evening here in Northern California, where it is currently about 105 degrees. So, yeah, a little bit on the warm side. But this is probably going to be the coolest day of the week. so, uh, whatever. I do still want to stream, so I will stream for a bit, as long as I can. Now, they have threatened some power shutoffs, so I might suddenly stop streaming. If I suddenly vanish, I will try to post a message saying, yeah, power went out, but that is something to be aware of. Hopefully, they don't have to. If people are being responsible, and you might sit here and go, well, wait a minute, you're doing a stream. How responsible can you be? Well, I mean, if everything else, I'm not running any major appliances, not planning to. Almost all the lights in the house are off except for one because I don't want it to be pitch black in the one corner. Actually, pretty much everything is off. So I'm doing as much as I can. I've got my PC turned off. I literally last night, I was sitting at one point because it was so hot. I mean, it got to 114 Fahrenheit, this is. I'm sorry, I don't know the Celsius conversions. I imagine it's 40 something Celsius. But in any event, it got to 114 Fahrenheit. And I mean, that was a. Actually, I'm going to test something out with this mic because I'm going to go and grab. So I'm walking right now. I apologize, there's a lot of excess noise, or it might get a little echoey for a minute. But hopefully I believe the range will work on this. But I was literally sitting in the dark with my dog, and because my wife hadn't gotten home yet, and I was sitting there. Hopefully this lasted the whole time. I think it should have. This is supposed to have a pretty good range, so I'd imagine it's okay. Anyway, I'm sitting there with nothing on, almost in the dark, just to try not to overheat. Not even because of the energy conservation stuff, although that was a part of it. Oh, you know what I realized? I didn't wet this thing, so it's not as cold as it should be. Hold on. Let me go and put some water on this. But anyway, I have these little cooling headbands, which are made for exercise. And this has got to be a thrilling stream because now you're just going to hear water in the background, probably. Sorry about that. Because I'm going to throw this in the fridge. And I'm going to grab the other one. Ooh, this one might actually be cold. Hold on. This one might actually have some coolness to it. No, it's yeah. Let me throw that in there. So anyway, I'm sitting there in the dark with towels, the headband, and this thing that my wife had gotten me because I overheat instantly. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything for me to be overheated because if it's at 80 degrees, I'm hot. It's too much. So of course, when it's 115 outside, even with the air conditioning running, there's only so much it's going to be able to do. So I think at that point in the night, it was 88 degrees in the room I was in, which was not fun. So, yeah. Anyway, I went to get one of those towels just now. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as bad today. It is about, I mean, it's relative, but it's not quite as bad. It's still not great. But anyway, if the stream suddenly just terminates, it possibly it could be because my internet goes out. I can't say that would never happen. It has happened. But it's more likely that if it goes out, that means the power's out. So I will stream. I'm going to keep this a little on the shorter side just because of that. I'd rather have a shorter stream that's complete than try to go a little bit over the edge because it's going to probably be getting bad. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen the next hour. So we'll see. I'm going to get a drink of water. I mean, I've virtually blacked the house out with stuff over the windows, and we have external sunshades that cut the light way down. But the problem is if you black the house out, they don't want you to turn the lights on because that uses power. So you're sort of stuck in the middle. So it's a balancing act. We'll see. We avoided outages yesterday. They kept warning, and I mean, it was one of those things where I felt like we were about 2 inches away from having our power go out. And it didn't happen. So we'll see. There's no guarantees, but we'll try it. In any event, let's get started because, again, I'm not going to be streaming for very long because who knows if the power is going to stay on or not. We'll see. And I was planning to stream tomorrow, but tomorrow's supposed to actually be warmer. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to stream, I better do it tonight while it's still relatively not too warm and I can actually do it. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to actually leave this because normally I have the fixed positioning thing on with this, but I'm actually going to just let it adjust itself because I think that might actually serve the viewing process better. So let's keep working on our rat here. Actually, did I finish all the little accents on this? So hopefully wherever you're coming into this from, you're in cooler weather than I am because it's just not, it's not great. I mean, it's really just miserable to be stuck in this. So hopefully you're not in 100 and, what did I say, 14 degrees. No, today's not bad. No, sorry. Today's 105. I say not bad relatively. So yeah, I am playing with the taper pen on the rat here. This taper pen that I made because I kind of like, I really like artwork where they do things like this. We have these long kind of tapered edges. I haven't quite mastered that yet with this pen, but I'm kind of just playing around with it. But I still like the fact that there's a tapered edge on this. So I'm just playing around with the tapered edges for the accent lines here. There we are. Okay. I think that was the last one. So I did a little bit there. You can see there's some of it there. But I'm playing around with this taper pen because I kind of like it. So I'm trying to use it where without overusing it, which is of course the temptation is to just use it for literally everything. I don't want to do that either. I don't want to go overboard too far with it, but I am using it for the little edge lines here. I did those little things there. That came out all right. So I think the only place I haven't done it is right. Oh, well, I'll do it on the red too, but right about here. So yeah, so like I said, I hope nobody else is in heat like this. I mean, this is just not fun. Not fun when there's this much heat. So yeah, this is actually something that requires, I didn't want to turn a TV on or anything because the light from the TV emits heat. So this is actually even less heat-wise than watching TV. You know, I'm going to leave those lines clean. These kind of fleshy lines. I'll leave those without the little accents. Yeah, so any of the organic parts I'm not going to do this on. I'll stick to that for the fur to kind of, you know, infer fur. Hey, that's a pun, everybody. That one I actually just thought of. That's not bad. I am kind of curious about something, though. Let me try. Oh, I didn't even check what layer I'm on. Yikes. What layer? Oh, I'm on the right layer. No, I'm on the right layer. Whoo! Okay, let me just see how something... I want to see how something looks. I don't know if this is going to look good. No, I can already tell I don't like it. Never mind. Kill that idea right away. All right, so let's jump our sketches back up here. And we don't need the rat sketch because I've got the rat pretty much where I want him. Is this rat? That's rat. More of this is rat. That's rat. There's got to be more rat to it. There's more rat. So let's move that up. What's this one? What is this? Where are you? Oh, that's the rat's body. Okay. So we'll turn that off. What's this? This is rat 2, right? Let's have a look. Definitely rat. Rat elbow. Oh, and this just says rat. So, okay. So we will take all these and we will chunk these together into a group. And we will call that group rat sketches. Rat sketch. Okay. Why did I... It didn't group it? Oh, yes, it did. Sorry. Oh, I named the wrong thing. This... Okay. Sorry. Let me undo that naming. Undo select layer. Undo... collapse layer. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. That was my fault. I didn't collapse the group before I renamed it. Rat sketch. Sketch. There we go. Okay, so then this is the cigarette pack. If you're a child listening, don't smoke. It's very bad for you. Don't do it. Believe me. It's not good for you. Don't do it. Smoking is very bad. Nobody, don't smoke. I mean that. I do not like smoking. So, sorry. Public service announcement. All right, let's see here. So we'll use which pen? Let's use this pen. Actually, I'm going to show you guys something. Since we're here. This, I can talk about this. This image here, which I have been sitting on for months and haven't been able to say anything about. This image is one of 3 that I did for Wizards of the Coast for their new will be announced, I think, in a couple days as of this recording on September 9th. They're going to actually, or they'll be released. They've already announced everything about it. Their Dominaria United expansion for Magic the Gathering. And so I did 3 cards for it. This is one. I do like this one quite a bit. This is Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Great name! So I'm taking these designs. There's, I don't know if they're all here. Let's see. Well, whatever. I'm not going to go through them all. Anyway, I'm going to convert them into shirt designs. Because if you look at this other one, yes, you could throw this onto a shirt. You could. But it's not really elegant for a shirt. Those hard edges, it doesn't look like it's kind of self-contained. I never really liked that with a shirt. So I'm making a shirtized version, which is this one. Now, admittedly, I lost the people she's controlling, but I don't know. I don't think that's really going to matter. If people really miss that, then I can always bring them back and I contain them in the circle. But I like the idea of it being focused on her. I've given her body rings are around there. So this isn't done because I have to redo all the glass or not all of it, but almost all the glass. Because you see these elements here? Here, I'll point to them for you. These elements here, or this stuff here, those wiggly lines, that's going to be the glass effect because it's supposed to be a stained glass piece. And because I've now moved a lot of things and like added to the body down here, why did that show up? Oh, because I'm on a lower layer. So because I've tweaked things on it, I have to redo all the glass, which is not a big deal. I can absolutely do it. In fact, actually, some of the glass should still be here. Where's the halo glass? One of these is still usable. Yeah, that's still usable. So some of it I can reuse. I just have to kind of move it. As you can see, it's not quite centered right. What am I moving? Oh, I didn't select the right layer. So hold on a minute. Let me do that again. But this is what I'm doing to... There we go. Now I've selected the layer. This is what I'm doing to make this into a good t-shirt design. No, come on, deselect. So see, I can reuse this once I get it placed right. So about there or so. And this will be on a shirt. So I will actually put this onto a shirt design that people could buy. So that's actually really fortunate. I can reuse that. That's really, really, really helpful because the glass takes a while. I mean, it takes a while. So the fact that I can use that is great. I can't reuse all of it. Oh, I can reuse that. Can I reuse that? Wait a minute. Ooh, this is a... Yes! Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, no, it's not quite lined up. Hold on a minute. Oh, it's close, but it's not. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to reuse it. I mean, don't get me wrong. On a shirt, could you tell? You probably couldn't, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't let stuff like that go. If I know it's not right, it's just going to bug me. You know what I mean? So I don't think I can reuse this because I don't think it lines... Ah, look at that. It just doesn't line up barely. But it doesn't line up. And that will just eat at me. Oh, wait, you know what? Maybe I got it. That might actually just be a legitimate line. No, it's not. It's a separator. Ah. Do I get that into this? If it's going to be on a shirt, I mean, you can't even see it from here. This is one of those areas where I know in my head that it's probably stupid to redo this entire thing for something that on a shirt is, I mean, I'm looking at, on a shirt, it's literally going to be about that size. You can't see it. You can't see that. Yes, if you blow it up, you'll see it, but at that size, you can't. It's one of those things where effort it will take to redo that. Should I redo that? I don't know, because I might sell it as a print. I'm going to end up having to redo. I already know I'm going to have to end up redoing it. Even though, boy, it really is hard to see it, isn't it? It's very difficult. Well, I can see that one. Why is that lined up like that? Hold on. That's got to be off. That looks like it's off this way. One more. Okay, hold on. I could be wrong. Yeah, now it looks like it's too far up. I'm sorry, this was not the intent of the stream, but I'm just kind of trying to see if this is even salvageable like this. I don't think it is. Oh, wait, maybe. Hold on. But you know what? This is a good window. How it goes. Yeah, no, there's no way. I'm going to have to redo that. All right, whatever. That's not the point of the stream. Sorry. Anyway, there will be a shirt version of that coming. That was the larger point, was to say there will be a shirt of that. In any event, back to our rat. Okay, so this is the sketch. Let's go ahead. Did I already contain this? I did not. All right, so we're going to group all of the rat line work together so that we have a little bit of organization before I get too far. We'll group that. Let's verify that is our group. That is our line work group. So we will call this rat line work. There we are. Rat line work is done. Now, let's start doing, I'm going to do a couple of these, bang, bang. We're going to group these up from the beginning for once, and we'll call this cigarette line work. I was going to put the word pack, but I mean, you know what it is, so it's okay. All right, so now I'm actually grouping it from the beginning, which is a rarity. Usually I do these things in very, very dumb pieces. So we got to get our line. You know what? Let's actually use the big pen. It's going to be easier to move down from that. Actually, no, it isn't. Yes, it is. What am I saying? Let's go down to maybe 3, I'm going to say. Let's take a quick look. Maybe 4. Let's check. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that's about the same. Okay, so now let's start on our cigarette pack here. And we're just going to do the same kind of tracing over. Now, this is under the rat, but it's not under the colors. So let's go ahead and... How do we want to do... We'll just do it the way we always do it. I should say way I always do it, which is just to do my lines, and then I'll mask them out. Okay, so let's start going here. Let's get this lined up. And let's start drawing. Okay. I'm sitting here babbling along about heat and t-shirt designs and not actually doing any actually drawing. So let's start drawing something. And we'll do the same thing. Now don't worry about the fact that you can see those lines. That's okay. That is not an issue because we're going to deal with that later. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. Because I do want to emphasize these folds. And you can do that in an unbroken line. Well, I should say, better artists than me can do that in an unbroken line, but I cannot. So, we're going to do this in the broken line method, which is what I usually do, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second, where it kind of emphasizes better the difference in these lines. So, we'll just do this, and we'll add a little bit of crumpliness. Crumpliness, there's a word. Is that a word? It might be a word. Probably not a word, though. Okay, I'm just looking for what's the word? Lines that are not intersecting. Non-intersectional lines. Ooh. That's a neat phrase. I don't think that's a real phrase either, but I like it. I'm going to use it. Non-intersectional lines. Intersectional is a real word. I don't think the phrase non-intersectional lines has probably ever been said by anybody. That's okay, though. I don't mind being a trailblazer and dumb things. In fact, that's probably the only place I will be a trailblazer is dumb things. Okay, so we're going to do this and fold and that. And that's where we then jump down to our third layer and see this is what I mean about I don't mind these lines intersecting because I can go back and erase those. But I don't want them to intersect on the first run because then I'd have to erase. Well, I wouldn't be able to do it properly. It would be really annoying. I could do it, but it'd be really annoying. So we'll have to do that. And we'll then, you know what, that's going to go all the way down. So we're going to make sure I get this right. And this is going to come down. I'm not going to go all the way into the rat because that makes it look like it's a seam, more of a seam than it is, I should say. Okay, so this will come up. And we'll fold that. That goes in. Let's do the top. So let's see how this is going to work. So we'll do this, and we'll have that lip come out a little bit more than it is in my sketch. That goes there. Now we go down to our third layer, and that's where we'll have this fold coming in. That's where I think I'm going to have a fourth layer. Have this fold coming in. We'll do that one and that one. We need to do one more down here that joins up there. Make sure I did that right. I did. And it appears, let's take a look. Hold on. Yep, I need a fourth one. Put that right in there. And that one will just have these two lines primarily going there and going there. And I believe that's all of my cigarette lines. Okay, so all my cigarette pack lines are done. So now what I'll do is go into each of these and erase the... I'm not even going to mask it. I think the masking is... I mean, I understand why people do it, but I don't think for my stuff... For something like this, it's perfectly okay just to erase. Because these are lines I can easily replicate. If it was really something... Like if I was working on this for a professional job or something, then I probably would... Let me turn the sketches off. I probably would utilize masking more. That is something I got to really start doing. But for something like this, it's fine. I don't think it's vital for this because this is just a fun drawing. So I'm not so worried about the... Okay, let me take a quick look at this. This is going like that. That fold is going... Let me take a quick look. Yes, okay. Actually, what I should do is just drop the opacity a bit, and then it'll make it very obvious what I'm erasing. What an idea. So yeah, since this is a non-professional drawing, I'm not going to worry so much about the perfection of it. There's a word I'm clearly using extraordinarily loosely. But I'm not so worried if I erase a line incorrectly. It will not be difficult, this is the way to phrase it, for me to go in and redo these lines because they're pretty simple. There's not tons of detail involved where I'd really have to worry about, oh man, if I have to redraw this. Kind of the glass thing I was just showing you on the earlier image. Redoing that glass is going to take a while. It's just going to take a while. But you know what? I don't like the idea of not doing something the right way. And if someone were to buy like a sticker or something of that, and I don't know that anybody will, but if they did, I would not be happy. If I was the person buying it, I'd be annoyed if I noticed that. Now, is it likely that somebody buying that would never see it until I point it out to them? Yeah, it's likely. But you know what? I don't assume that everybody that buys things is not paying attention, and they should be. If you're paying money for something, it should be done correctly. So I'm not going to... That fold is coming that way, okay. I'm not going to make that assumption that somebody wouldn't notice it. For all I know, they will notice it. So rather than take a chance on it, just do it right. Okay, so this one's done. And now we'll do this one, drop it down, even though I'm kind of obvious where I am here, but again, don't make that assumption. So we'll just erase these lines, and this, of course, now drops the cigarette pack behind the rat. That's all we're doing here is obscuring the parts of the pack that should not be going through the rat's body. And that's what we're just doing by erasing the lines that would logically go behind the rat. This, if you're watching this for art tips, applies to anything. You create depth by obscuring things. That's all. So you can draw it however you want if you have access to a transparent layer like this. And then you just go back and erase the stuff that you don't want to be wherever you don't think it should be. That's what I'm doing here. And that's how you create planes of depth. There we go. Okay, so... And that's a nice, simple, quick way to do the cigarette pack. I mean, that didn't take any time at all. Okay, so this is based on a Marlboro cigarette pack, which is basically white and red, so easy colors. And we already have white present. So we'll go ahead and... Now, I could... I'm not going to worry about it. I was going to say if I really wanted high fidelity in terms of what the image... Actually, I should look at something. Let's actually look at something very quick. Let's look up Marlboro cigarettes. Nope, not V, Z-I-G. Cigarettes. Let's take a quick look at an image and see what we're looking at. So basically the bottom part is white, or black, I guess, in the case of that one. And the top part, you know what, let's go ahead. Since I've got it here, let's go ahead and do a copy of this image. Copy. Now we're going to jump over here, and just for the purposes of this, we're going to go ahead and do a paste. Oh, where did it paste in the middle? All right, that's fine. And we're going to sample this red. There's our red. And so what we're looking at is the top of it is... Okay, got it. So I don't need this anymore. Goodbye. So we will now do a... We'll put it... well, it's supposed to be behind the rat. So let's go ahead and... Let me just group all this together because this is rat colors. Okay, so we'll call this rat colors. Okay, we already have burger colors. So now we will create a new one behind. I'm going to need at least 2. Group. And we will call this, well, I'll just use the Marlboro. Marlboro. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? I guess it is. Marlboro colors. There we are. So, on the top layer. Uh-oh. Look what I just noticed. I missed a line. There it is. Let's get rid of that pesky guy right there. Didn't miss any others, right? Just checking real quick. Nope, we're good. Okay. So, Marlboro colors. Let's go ahead and bolt in that big red. And this should stay behind the rat colors because the rat colors are above it. So that's easy enough. That would go there. Just paying attention to where the colors, because the interior will be, I don't know what color it is in actuality, but I'm going to make it white just to keep it separate. So the interior being this space right there. That's going to end up being, it won't be white. I'll make it kind of a gray. But anyway, let's see here. Let's get down there. Okay. Move this around. Let's see here. Yeah, hopefully with the sun going down, the heat will go down a little bit. Now, you know what I didn't look at? I assume that goes around the pack, right? It must. Let's go back and look at a 3-dimensional picture, which is, yes, it does. The red goes around the side. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense, but I just wanted to, you know what? Yes, no, that would be there. Okay. Not that it really, you know, this is not meant to be some kind of very high fidelity image, but still, you know, if I want you to think this is a Marlboro cigarette pack, then I'd want to do things that make it pretty obvious that's what it is. Or if you're an X-Files fan, a Morley's pack. But I don't what did they call the group on X-Files? The group of men. Was it the consortium? They had a name for those guys that got together and, you know, plotted things. Keep it spoiler free. The plotted things. I'll just say it like that. What a great show. What a great show. I'm actually kind of going back and forth. I'll tell you guys, or you viewers. My wife is not in earshot at the moment, but I'm going back and forth. She likes the Lone Gunmen a lot, who are characters, for those who never watched. The Lone Gunmen are a pair of kind of lighter comedic character, not a pair, a trio of lighter comedic characters in the X-Files who act as kind of an outside paranoid consulting group for Fox Mulder, the main character, who actually make him seem not as paranoid as he otherwise would, which is quite a feat for that show, which is built mostly around Mulder's paranoia. Those characters were very much liked. They got their own show. Their show did not do well for different reasons, depending on who you ask. I barely remember the show because I think at the time that it was on, I'd kind of fallen out of the X-Files a bit. So I don't really, I know I saw some of it, but I don't remember I don't really remember what the quality of it is. And unfortunately, it seems like it's as most things are, a very subjective evaluation. But in any event, and I'm going to spoil something here, so if you've never seen the X-Files and you care about spoilers for a show that has been off the air for 20 plus years now, well, around 20 years, I should say, is when the Lone Gunman was around 20 years. But anyway, it's quite a long time. So I am going to talk about a significant plot detail in terms of the X-Files. So if that is a problem, sorry. Or, you know, maybe don't listen for this will be quick. So in any event, those characters, the Lone Gunman, got their own show. I know I just went into the white there. I don't really care. I'm going to clean it up in a minute. They got their own show, and as is a pathetically common thing now, the show was canceled on a cliffhanger. So there was no resolution. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make that a little darker. There was no resolution of the story that was being told in the last episode, which, as I said, is a very annoying and unfortunately very common occurrence now, thanks to services like Netflix and stuff. They do shows that are meant to be able to go to another season, and rather than engineer an ending that works whether the show continues or not, very often what they do is they have a cliffhanger, which I can't stand, because so often now there is a expectation from whoever airs the show that you will watch, but there is no guarantee for you, the viewer, that the show will continue. So they basically make it your decision as far as whether the show continues, not by your viewership. So you are responsible in that fashion. But they, as the producers or network or whatever you want to refer to them as, because now, streaming is a little bit murky, they bear no responsibility to continue the show. There is no actual transaction. There is no covenant, if you want to use an older term, between these companies and the viewer to say, yes, you have watched this show, and because of that, we will respect your viewership and make sure that there's at least, if not another season, some kind of movie or last episode or something, so that you're not left in the lurch on the story. No, that doesn't exist. Basically, you're rolling the dice, as I found out by watching the Netflix Resident Evil show, but let's not talk about that. So in any event, the Lone Gunmen were very popular characters, got their own show, as I said. Show, for whatever reason, did not do very well, or did not do well enough for a renewal, and so it ended its first season on a cliffhanger. However, the parent show, X-Files, was still going, and so there was an opportunity to wrap their story up, and that was done. So there was an episode, which I believe is called Jumping the Shark or Jump the Shark, which is a TV term. So that's kind of an inside baseball joke. And in that episode, and here comes the spoiler, this is all I'll talk about as far as the episode, so it's a very quick bit. So if you just stop listening and count to 120, I guarantee it'll be over by then. In fact, you can count to 60, it'll be over to then. All right, ready? Here comes the spoiler. Start counting. I'll give you a 5-second head start. Start counting. 3, 4, 5. At the end of that episode, the lone gunmen are killed. They're killed off. Heroically, they do it to save people, but they end up being killed off. Now, that's a very divisive, just that by itself, is a very divisive plot development. There are a number of people who do not like that happened. My wife likes these characters, and she doesn't know that happened. And so, it puts me into a bit of a dilemma. Because, do I have her watch that? Because she likes the characters. Because if we just avoid that episode altogether, then wherever it leaves off before that will be the last time those characters showed up. Now, that might seem a little weird because they are so prominent to not see them again, and so there may be a downside to doing that. However, if I leave off on that last X-Files episode, then for my wife anyway, her last memories of the characters will be positive ones. And so this presents a dilemma for me as the person who is kind of in charge of the viewing. Because, I don't want her to not like what happens in the show, especially the characters she likes. And so there's this weird, and I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not a life or death decision. I'm not trying to over-dramatize too much. But there is a thing with me where I don't want to ruin something for her. So if she's liking this thing and these characters, it's a weird dilemma to have. Where you sit there and go, well, do I just not show her the other episode? And she just won't know what happened? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I really don't. I'm in a weird space with that particular element because I don't really know what to do. I don't know. Like I said, this is not life or death. This is not serious, heavy stuff. It's a TV show. It really doesn't matter. These characters are not real. And yet, good shows, we do form attachments to characters. We do like them and follow them and think of them as people when they are successfully written. So it's not nothing. You know what I mean? It's not a nothing thing. So I don't know. I don't know where I've come down on that yet. I'm still kind of working that out. Now we got to do the wrapper. What does the actual wrapper on the inside of these packs look like? I don't know because I don't smoke. Well, that doesn't show me anything. It's usually like a foil. Is there no foil in this one? Does Marlboro not have the foil inside? They used to have a foil thing. Oh yeah, there it is. So it's a very silverish thing. Okay. Okay. So, well, I'll just make it a dark. I just don't want to make the same color as the rat. The rat's already kind of a... Well, you know what? Let me see something. Let me try something. Yeah, you know what? It can have color. Who cares? It's my drawing. I'll make it whatever I want. All right, so let's just put some color foil in there. No cigarettes, though. We'll make it an empty pack. Because honestly, nobody's going to leave. If there's a perfectly good cigarette in a pack, somebody's going to grab it. I mean, that's just the reality of the world. Okay, so we've got our Marlboro colors. Nice and easy, nothing to it. Where are we on the time? All right, we're not going to go for too much longer because I don't really want to push my luck too far. Oh, I had a cigarette pack. Oh, now that was that. These are the reference images. That's not actually. What is that? Oh, that's the tape. That's not a pack of cigarettes. I'm an idiot. Okay, so let's do a sketch. We're going to do the outside sketch of the. What is that? Hold on. Is that what's underneath? I turn the colors off. Is that what that is? It probably is. Yeah, it's got to be because that's the whole sketch thing. So this is the cigarettes. Yes, it is. I can see it. Let me just name that cigarette sketch. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with that. We'll just call this VHS sketch. I don't know. Again, not trying to, make it seem very, very serious. It's not. But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do there. All right, let's go ahead and group these. And we'll call this VHS line work. I know it's line work. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, and this will probably be where we'll finish out today, right around here. So since we already have our brush built, or not built, since we have the line selected that we want, let's go ahead and start doing our VHS here. So let me think about how I want to do this. So each of these panels, let me take a look at something. Let's take a quick look at an actual VHS box. VHS box. I know I have the reference one there, but I want to particularly look at the corners if I can look at. There we go. That's a good one. Let's see. Oh, that's what do you call it on it? I want to look at one that's just the paper. Here we go. That's probably good. So it is a tab on the top. Okay, got it. So if it's a tab on the top, that means the other lines are continuous. So essentially what I was trying to see is where the joint would be on here. So now I've got it. So if this is a tab that folds, that's how I want it to go. So here we go. Line number 1. Line stops there, yes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's just make that. Do a little bit of a ripple, not much though, and we'll have that line come back to here. Okay. Let's go to our second one. Actually, no, we can use the same one. This is okay, because this is a foundational one, so we're all right. We're good here. That's a front piece. Okay, so I want to have that be a continuous line. So we'll have this come to here. Oh, that's an eraser. Sorry. Have this come to here. This comes up. Or no, wait. Sorry, I'm thinking. This would actually be, if that's the piece, then it would go, it would be here. That would come to this. That would come down. And then that would go that way. Okay, got it. And these lines would actually join. So what I'll do is I'll figure that part out. But this would be one line. So let's go ahead and do this. I got to erase that little divot that I put there somehow. And then we'll join these up like so. Although that doesn't look like a clean line. Oh, that is not a clean line. We got to fix that. I can't accept that. I can accept that. And then here, same thing. We have our little divot, which is just a byproduct of how I draw. There's our lines. Okay, so that's the single first panel, because that's a single piece of the box. Okay, so let's put our sketch back on. Now we're going to go to this side. Now I'm going to do one thing that I noticed on one of those boxes, which is to have that there. And I messed up because I didn't zoom out enough, so I don't have the complete thing. So we'll have to fix that, but we'll fix that right now. It's just extraordinary that I managed to get the lines at opposite sides. I mean, it's almost like you would practice that, but I just do it instinctually because it makes it that much slightly more difficult for me to do what I'm doing. Okay, so there's our VHS box, which is going to be empty, so I'm not going to put the tape on the bottom. And now the only other side we have is basically creases, a crease side. So let's see. If we're looking at it, it would probably, we'll just do it like this. We'll just do the crease right here, and we'll stop there. And that way you create a little crease. So you can tell it's one piece of paper going, but that way the crease is there. All right, so now let's go with this, because we can do that. We don't have to, well, I should. I was going to say you don't have to do it this way, but this is probably the best way to do it. Let's make our circle for the sun. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and we do want that to be a circle. Now, I know somebody will point out, and they're correct, that it would be distorted on a box, but it's not distorted enough that I care. But there probably would be some distortion, yes. All right. Now let's do Bub's head, which is also going to be a series of lines. Boy, I did that continuously. Wow. Okay. I know what I'm going to do. We're going to do it like this. Let me think about this for 1 second. Okay. We're going to do this. Now, this takes a little bit of concentration. So bear with me for 1 minute, because doing this all in one shot and trying not to mess it up too much. But it's not easy to do that and not screw it up. Wow. Cannot believe I did that in one shot. Normally I do not do that well. I mean, well as in I didn't go and do it completely off, you know what I mean? Okay. So now we can do the rest, which fortunately this was not planned, but I gave myself a little bit of a kind of helper here by having this line go behind the rat. So that allows me to break the line, and that way I can actually do this. So I'll have this come out. And as you can see, I'm not too worried about having it be exactly perfect the whole time. It's okay. And we'll have this come out like that. So cheating a little bit there. A little bit of a cheat, but not enough that I think it really matters. And we'll have that ear come here, and I'm going to do this. Let's give it a little bit of style. A little bit. Make sure I don't have intersectional lines there. Nope, we're good. Okay, this is just there. Oh, well, that's great. So now, you know what? I kind of like this bub drawing more than I remember liking it when I did it. This actually came out all right for, because I tried, at first I was doing a very one-to-one bub drawing. And I got to a point and I thought, it'd be more interesting to kind of stylize a little bit. And actually, it really didn't come out that bad. Because normally when I do stuff like that, it just as often doesn't work as it does. So I'm actually pretty pleased that it came out as well as it did, even in sketch form. Now this is tricky because I'm doing this all in one. It's very easy to mess this. I'm very prone to messing this up. I was about to say as a blanket statement, wow, man, I'm getting exceptionally lucky here. I mean, to the point where I really am sort of astonished at how lucky I'm getting with not messing some of these unbroken lines up. See, that's more typical. See that little peak there? I don't like that little peak. That's more of what I usually end up with, but really not bad. Really not that bad for my normal track record. Okay, let's go ahead and do the chin line. And again, I'm not worried about following even my sketch lines exactly. Doesn't have to be perfect. Where's this line? Where's that line? Okay, take this, and let's do this. Okay. All right. Let's see where we are. And you know what? I'm going to end here. I'm going to end here because we're at 45 minutes. I feel like I've had a really good streak going. Good line work. Whoa, wait. Oh, jeez. Thought I said erase those. Line work's been good. Power's still on. The thing hasn't failed where it goes to the desktop. So you know what? Let's just stop while we're ahead because it's actually a good spot. And the iPad is getting a bit warm. So probably because it's hot. So we will continue this later, but I'm actually very happy with how this is going. So I'm going to stop on the off chance that, I start to screw it up. Because it is good. I've said this before. It is good to take a break from things. Even when they're going well. I mean, you can be grooving along, but it's always good to just take a little breather. And besides, between you and me, my dog wants to eat now. So I'm actually going to plug my iPad in because if the power does go off, this will be entertaining me for much of the rest of the night. So I'm going to plug this in so that it can charge a bit. And like I said, I hope that you are all, wherever you are, that you are not in this kind of heat or worse. Because it's not great. And it's, it's easy to warm up. It is not easy to cool down. So I hope that you all are having I am really struggling as I'm talking to try to plug in my iPad without having to look at the port. That's astonishing. I mean, I don't know how I didn't do that. There we go. Anyway, before I overshoot here, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you are having a much cooler experience in whatever time zone and part of the day you're in than I am. If not, stay hydrated. Try to stay out of the sun at the very least. Keep an eye on yourself. Don't, overheat. That's terrible. What is it? Whatever heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Don't do any of that. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, whatever part of it you're in, and we will talk to you again on the next stream. All right? Take care.